Hello and welcome to our newest episode of Morgana Radio, where I, your host, Morgana Ray, am interviewing the world's most fascinating thought leaders on money, love, and magic. I have known Harrison Klein for years. He's interviewed me. I had the pleasure of interviewing him for the first time for my manifestation masterclasses, and he blew my socks off. This guy is fascinating and smart, super accomplished. I will give you some of his accomplishments now, the official Harrison Klein bio. Harrison Klein is a human behavioral transformationalist and global luminary. He is an educator. He is an internationally known and sought after expert in personal growth, organizational, and business. He has been teaching for over 31 years, and he has taught and consulted over 4,400 individual people and 30 corporations. He advises people and organizations from all walks of life on personal and professional development and achievement. His clients range from CEOs of international organizations to healthcare professionals, spiritual seekers, politicians, manufacturers, and celebrity personalities. He has appeared in numerous film documentaries, including Luminous Worldviews, Life After 50, which I'm in also, although I'm not after 50 yet, Tapping the Source, The Forgiveness Project, plus several others, and he's been interviewed in over 160 radio and television talk shows and featured in newspapers and magazines and telesummits globally. What else? Harrison has dedicated his life to understanding the workings of the universe. And boy, when you hear his story, you'll get that. He is studying social dynamics, human nature and behavior, and he travels across the globe sharing his unique perspectives, teaching ways to empower and inspire individuals and organizations to higher productivity, creativity, leadership, community culture, luminosity, and results orientation.
Yay!
Yay! He has designed and produced major personal growth products such as the I Am Effect, Effortless Abundance, 21 Ways to a Wealthy Mindset, Life Mastery, the World Intuition Summit, the Masters Gathering, Women, Power and Purpose, and he shared the stage with many noted, inspired educators, innovators, luminaries, business and spiritual leaders like John Assaraf, billionaire Bill Bartman, Janet and Chris Atwood, Dr. Alex Lloyd, and many, many, many more, to name just a few. So you are going to love the next 30 minutes. And we are diving into such a great topic. 3 wealth principles that never fail. So I'm torn here because I really want you to share your story. And I also really want us to dive into the 3 wealth principles. And we're going to start with your story because that's what got you here. So hello, Mr. Successful, world famous influencer of billionaires and celebrities. Your life has always been easy, hasn't it?
Oh, I really like you, Morgan. No, my life has not always been easy. It has in the last several years, but as a young man, I'll give you the short version of what I came through. And, it's my understanding and opinion that almost nobody gets out of childhood without post-traumatic stress disorder. So what went on in my life was that I was autistic from about the age of 4 to about, and it was actually a decision which I now have been able to trace back. But I was autistic from about the age of 4 to the age of about 28, and I had a mystical, magical, awakening, illuminated experience that changed my whole life in an instant. From that autism, I was spontaneously healed. My awareness was not only came back to normal, but all of my functions, all my mind functions, my brain functions were enhanced from where the average person might experience things. I ended up coming out of that experience clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and a whole number of other powerful type things. But it was an extraordinary experience, and was like a light show in a way. And I was traveling through the universe through this mystical experience, wrapped in a white tube of light, and I was watching planets birth and die and explode, and galaxies spin, and I heard choirs of angels, and I was moving faster than the speed of light. Patterns and colors were coming at me beyond anything that could even be describable. But it was amazing, and when I came out of it, I was a totally healed person, different from all the 28 years prior to that. I had access to my own thoughts. I had access to a new vision. I could actually see energy and see vibration. I could see the pulsations of the different colors that were going around. My auditory hearing senses were so enhanced that I could hear conversations 30 yards away that I couldn't hear the day before in my ear. So, my whole life turned on a dime. And it was just a moment of grace. It wasn't anything that I did. I was just, Source prepared me through going through my autism, through all those dark years of being in a living hell, and then coming out and finding a new purpose in life, finding my connection with Source and the ability to help evolve other people into higher states of consciousness.
Well, the very fact that you're even speaking right now is miraculous, given where you began.
I didn't have a conversation with anybody till I was almost 28 years old. So most of the conversations I had, I was okay in school because I could read and regurgitate, but I was a very quiet, shy kid. Nobody saw anything wrong with me or anything because I didn't speak to anybody, but I could take tests and do well on tests. So, the extent of my conversations with anybody is, what do I have to do here? Or, how much does this cost? That was it. Including my parents and everything else.
So no emotional connection.
Well, totally disassociated from everything. Yeah. Yeah.
And here you are. So let's begin. Hey. I know that you talk about holistic wealth, which thank goodness, because, I talk about money, but you and I both know some, really miserable people with very big cash balances. And that's not wealthy. So what is your definition of holistic wealth?
Well, genuine wealth is not just money. Genuine wealth is whatever it is that makes your life purposeful. You become genuinely wealthy. So if you are in a state of being able to feel fulfilled, you are genuinely wealthy. For a lot of people, they need the financial aspect of that to feel that they're there. But the truth of the matter is that once you get there, the financial aspect is much easier. So, working on yourself first, even as you teach, where love before money, all that is critical to being able to become fulfilled. And you want to have a life that means something to you. It's not just about getting things, but it's about something that has to do with enjoyment and purpose and meaning and putting your light out there for people to share, so that they become more evolved and elevated and feel better about themselves, and then that pays forward and cycles out and ripples out all across the world. And every little thing that happens actually is a statement into the universe that expands or contracts the universe. And so beyond the expansion side, you get the expansion. So it's pretty much as simple as that.
So what did you say? Because I know you attract, what do you say to all these spiritual people who are working on themselves, and they're taking law of attraction classes, and they have vision boards, and they're really nice people with big gifts to give, and they're dirt poor broke?
They're not utilizing, the internal aspect of it. They're taking, first of all, the best teacher you can find is not somebody who's out there. The best teacher you can find is what's inside of here in your heart. And if you listen to that intuitive portion of you, you are about 100% better off than anything you will learn from the outside. But the reason people get dirt broke is really, if you understand the way the universe works, it's our thoughts create our lives, and our states of being create our thoughts. So, the Buddha said that thousands of years ago, and every spiritual sage since has reiterated that in one form or another. So when we understand that everything is states of being, states of mind, states of being, which are really, cosmic sort of location, a matrix of longitude and latitude in the universal matrix of things. We move into states of being like we move into the state of Florida or the state of California or whatever the case may be. And we get to choose whether we stay or not. So a state of being is a place that is a choice. It's an identity. And when you're in a state of being, a state of mind, you actually vibrate in a particular to that state. And in vibrating particular to that state, the law of attraction is activated, and then whatever is resonant to that state that you like about that state becomes your experience. And that all starts with the law of resonance, which is your I am principle, which is the identity principle. As you identify, so you become. As you identify, so you receive. So they may be taking all these courses, but if they don't stay in the causal factor, and the primary law of the universe, other than the law of being, is the law of cause and effect. And if they don't stay on the causal side of that, they're working on effect, like their lives aren't what they want it to be. But you can't work on effect from effect. The only way you can work on effect is from cause. Or if you don't like the effect, you change your cause, and then that changes your experience. And as you teach, you want to change your relationship to money so that, your wealth aspect becomes much more able and enhanced. So as we do that, our thoughts create our lives. So anything that we experience is just something that's a reflection of what's going on inside of us. So the first principle is to understand your state of mind. The second principle is to identify with what it is you want to experience. And then, don't entertain contradictory thoughts. Don't entertain, conflicting experiences. And if you are able to do that, and it takes a little practice, but if you're able to do that, you then begin to control the experiences of your life. And you can change your life simply by changing your thoughts. You can change any experience you have simply by changing your thoughts. You become the cause. So thoughts are cause, life is effect. And when you're in the causal side of it, the effect must follow automatically. So be deliberate about what the cause is. That's what I would say to all those people doing all those things. First, know what your cause is before you try to attract anything, and try to get be in the right state of mind.
So
I am wealthy is incredibly powerful. The words I am really are the two most powerful words in the universe, and they, in point of fact, create your experience. They are a signal to the universe to take what you say, what you attach to the words I am, and cycle back to completion for that attachment. I am wealth, I am joy, I am abundant, I am depressed, angry, unfulfilled. I mean, whatever you say, you're going to get. And whatever you certainly dominates your thought is what you're going to experience.
So step one is to recognize what your resonance is. And then step number two is to choose what you want it to be. What is step number three? Principle number three.
Principle number three. Okay. First is to recognize, yes, to understand a state of mind. Secondly is to step into the state of mind. And the third is to act on whatever it is that you have been, creating in the first two steps.
Action is important. So
action is only a bridge. If you don't have the causality right, action doesn't work. It's like pushing against the wall. You don't want to, pushing against the wall only creates resistance. So, but if you have your cause right, the action is a bridge that gets you over the hump.
Which, by the way, is fascinating to me because I know that there's this quote of Albert Einstein that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But what I've noticed is that you can do exactly the same thing and get extremely different results completely depending on your inner state.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, actions are only connected to what's going on inside of your inner state, no matter what you do. So,
Yeah.
so if your thoughts aren't right, if you're not in the right causality, the results don't flow.
Yeah.
You can't think unhappy thoughts and be happy. You can't think poverty issues and be wealthy. It just doesn't work. And you can do a million different things that are toward wealth, but if you're thinking poverty, it doesn't matter what you do, what actions you take. So you're gonna experience poverty or lack, if you want to, whatever you want to call that. But I have a different definition of insanity than Albert Einstein's. Albert Einstein is not doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results. Insanity is breaking into somebody's house and doing their laundry and leaving.
I think we need more of that in the world.
Right.
So I know that you teach that there are many different levels of wealth in the world. Can you explain what those are and how they're different?
Sure. I mean, of wealth, different levels of wealth. Every level of wealth has a particular set of behaviors and a particular mindset to it. So somebody who's making $50,000 a year has a very different mindset than somebody who's making $150,000, and a very different mindset than somebody who's making $1 million, and a humongously different mindset to somebody who's making $1 billion. So levels of wealth have to do with what you can receive, what you're willing to receive, and what you're open to. Your sense of worthiness around money in terms of financial wealth. So if we are congruent with who we are, that is, if we say who we are and we act on what we are and we follow through on what we say, basically we build our self-esteem. And in building our self-esteem, we feel worthier to receive what we desire to receive. And so, if we're in a state of deservedness, then it comes to us because our thoughts are instantaneously non-resistant. And in being non-resistant, the universe just simply hands it to you in whatever form it does, but it hands it to you. The whole difficulty in getting anything is resistance. So the evolution of how we grow has to do with what resistance we can let go of. So, there's a particular kind of mindset when you're in debt. There's another mindset when you start to become, independent, or when you get out of debt. There's another mindset when you start to be creative about what you want to do, and then being independent in that level, and then getting a group of people together to help, which is the next state, so that you can create more value, and then getting that group of people to create leverage with other groups of people. Those are states of mind. And when you're able to manage multiple streams of income, multiple groups of people to achieve something, your growth process is pretty much, stellar. I mean, it just exponentially explodes. So it's a good thing.
So why do we have resistance? Because I agree with you 1,000,000% that when we're working and we aren't getting it, there's a resistance. Why do we have that resistance?
Well, it's all conditioning. We aren't born with resistance. We aren't born as children. We go through up until about the age of 5 or 6 or 7, we have very little resistance, if any. It's mostly when people screw with us or impose their values on ours. And then those decisions and those things that have been painful in the past, kind of lodge themselves in our subconscious, and they act as governors, if you will, to what we experience. Your subconscious keeps a very accurate record of what you have concluded. And if you've concluded that something has, been painful for you or hurt you, it's not going to no matter what you say inside of your thoughts, it's not going to let you do that unless you can override your subconscious. But for the most part, it's programmed and there. But when you start to unlearn the processes by the laws of the universe, when you start to unlearn what your subconscious is programmed to do, and you come back to your natural state of abundance and joy and happiness, those things open up for you in dramatic kinds of ways. So We talk about limiting beliefs, but resistance, and all resistance is just the interjection of negative thoughts into a state of mind for something that you may want to experience or have. So if you remove the negative thoughts, if you come into the state of appreciation and love, and you are able to feel the fulfillment of that, it opens you up to receive because there's no resistance. So whatever comes up is yours. So, getting some hearts. I love that.
So this is something that you teach that I find really fascinating. And it's, what are the threads that run through the financial greats in creating savings and investing? The billionaires, as you said, they think differently than we do to get there. What do they do and think that we can model?
Oh, God. Well, billionaires have particular traits. Now, one of the things that I teach is that we install the traits of the greats. So when you understand the traits of a billionaire or a millionaire or whatever, it doesn't mean you're going to be that person, but it certainly helps dramatically to get there because your attitudes are the same. I mean, billionaires are, first of all, they have three things that run through everything that they do. One of them is that they love themselves. So they're very, very congruent with who they are, what they want. They know precisely what they want. They've done that since the time they were children. They always thought very clearly that it was their destiny to be one of the richest people on the planet. They took that attitude and they have worked it and tweaked it, and until it became a habit and it became automatic. So first thing is that they care about themselves. They look at what their hearts are telling them, and even the bad billionaires, the ones that manipulate and all that, they never see themselves as negative people. They just see themselves as doing whatever it is they do to the best of their excellence. So billionaires love themselves. That's the first step. The second step in understanding the threads that run through all great achievement and accomplishment is that you have to have a huge vision that serves vast numbers of people. And if you don't, I think as Solomon in the Bible said, where there is no vision, the people perish, or something like that. That's paraphrased. But vision is everything. I mean, because the larger the vision, the more, vision, let's put it this way, vision is possibility, and possibility is energy, creates energy. And when you have energy, and everything is just energy, there's nothing but energy out here. Our brain interprets what's going on as visual or physical, but there's nothing but states of energy or fluctuations of energy. And so when you are in a state of, when you have a vision that serves large, vast numbers of people, you're going to get a lot of help because people love to be associated with that bigger idea, with that bigger vision. So if you want to get somebody to help you, move your furniture, you're going to say, well, your close friends may help. But for the most part, most people say, nah, I got other things to do that day. But if you want to get something to change the planet for the better, people are going to come out of the woodwork to help you. You're going to talk about, raising the economic standards. You're going to talk about, climate change. You're going to talk about something that helps autistic children or whatever the case may be. People are going to come. They're going to help. They want to be part of that because it touches their lives in a way that small visions don't. And a small vision could be a small business, but if the business is there to earn money only for the proprietor, it's not the same as trying to serve on a vast scale. So the larger the vision, the easier it is to create money and people. And my recommendation for all those people out there who are even entrepreneurial, smallly or entrepreneurially inclined, is to take on a global problem. Because as you take on a global problem, you're going to get people who are aligned with that desire, and they're going to come to you. And as you creatively solve problems in that area, they're going to give you money. So that's very important. The third thing is that you have a sense of destiny. I mean, as I said, billionaires from the time their small children know that they are destined, or they decide they are destined to be one of the richest people on the planet. Now, there's only 1,900 billionaires on the whole planet. Last time I looked, that was last year. There may be 2,100 now, but there's like 1,900 people, and they control 97% of the Earth's resources and wealth. So obviously, it follows that they must, if our thoughts create our lives, they must think radically different than the other 7 billion of us. So when we learn how a billionaire thinks, when we learn how those thoughts influence them and how they take on the principles of wealth, which are, again, self-love, big vision that serves, and then having a feeling of destiny that they are the ones to bring their idea or their product to the planet. They don't share that with anybody. That's exclusive to them. It's their destiny, their belief that they're helping. And so that moves people in a dramatic way, and it moves people to high achievement. So those three things combined are the leverage that anybody who is interested in creating a much expanded and exponentially explosive experience for their wealth, can use. So
I had a billionaire mentor years ago. I'm trying to remember the exact year and I can't, but hanging around him and just spending time with him, meeting his friends, really observing how he thought about things and what his strategies. Like, he had epic patience. It could take him as long as it takes, but the results would be enormous. Very, very patient, very loyal person, very strategic, very nice. But the thing was, just being around him blew my mind, because until then, I had always been with people, even people with lots and lots of money, who still had a sense of lack. And this guy had no sense of lack. If he wanted to create something, he didn't even have to do it with his own money. But he always knew money was never, and he grew up poor. But something shifted in him, and by the time he was in my life, money was never a reason to not do anything. There was no limitation. And to just hang out with that, it felt like it just changed me energetically, physically, whatever, just forever. It was like, whoa, world has just changed its shape.
One of the great paradoxes of having a lot of money is that you don't think a whole lot about money. You think about what the service that you're giving. So, people who are in poverty and lack, they're always thinking about money, and they're always thinking about their lack of money. People who have a lot of money are not worried about money. They just don't think that way. They don't think of it. When you're wealthy, you don't think about being poor. You don't think about your lack. It's not an issue to you, because you can create. So you're confident in that ability to create. And it's, the paradox is that the wealthier you become, the less you have, you have to do with, thinking about the exigencies of money or the creation of money. It just is, the service aspect is a bigger thing. How do I serve more people in a better way? How do I leverage what I'm doing? How do I, the questions that they ask are much different than the questions of somebody in lack or poverty or at a medium level or whatever.
Well, the questions you ask yourself when your needs are met.
Yeah.
When all your needs are met, then what? That's when the questions get really, really interesting.
Exactly right. When your needs are not met, you're saying, how can I meet these needs? When your needs are met, you're asking, how can I contribute? So, and the quality of our questions really reflects very, very much the quality of our lives. So, because in the quality of your questions, what happens is that it opens up a cosmic channel. So questions open up cosmic channels, allow you to receive cosmic information. So you become 10 times, million times more creative as you have better questions. So, yes.
So my desire and my reason for doing everything is that I want everybody on the planet to get their needs met, so that then we can move to the real level of conversation, which is always love, lifestyle, legacy, making the world better. So I know you're a partner with me on this path. So for, and we're all at different, it's a continuum. We're all at different places on that path. So for people who are moving in that direction, but they don't have their needs met just yet, what is their best next step?
First of all, the first basic foundation of all things is to love yourself. So your first best step is to create a series of I ams that are not affirmations. Most people believe in affirmations, but an affirmation is something that's out there. You want to have something that's in here. So you want to create a declaration, which is what an I am does. It's a declaration. I am this. I identify with this. So in so doing, you then open up, your claim to whatever you are doing. So you say, I am wealth, or I am joy, or I am abundance. So if you, I am meeting my bills if you want, or I am a great manifester, or I am, significantly, I'm a significant contributor to this or that. But what you say with your I ams is incredibly important. The universe acts on vibration, and there's only 3 forms of vibration, and one of it is the intensity of the way you think. The other one is the words you speak, and the third one is the action that you promote. So when you are, the law of resonance will tell you that like energies can only attract, and anything that isn't a like energy is dissonance. So if you're thinking I am wealth, and your thoughts are I am, I can't make my bills, you're not going to have that situation. But if you're thinking I am wealth, and you hold to that, you gently keep bringing yourself back to that place, your financials, increase. You then start asking your questions. How can I be more creative about this? What problems can I solve to make more money? How can I improve the lives of others? Because that's how you make money. You creatively solve problems for other people, whether that is, as a garbage collector, or as a corporate executive, or as a teacher, or as a fitness expert. You're creatively solving problems for other people, and we're all in this together. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help solve each other's issues in a dramatic way for expansion. I can see you want to ask something. Go ahead.
Well, I love that, and I agree with it. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't believe that before this interview, I just told you that I'm calling myself an old lady. Maybe I need to re-examine that. I can't believe I shared that with the I am guy. Oops. So
you also got, like in the political arena right now, you also can see that what the I ams are doing. Look at the way people are identifying themselves, the political candidates, and you see the level of their I ams and the intensity of the emotions of their I ams, and you'll see what moves people out there, and what moves people themselves, actually. So during the last election with McCain and Obama, McCain said, I am a maverick. He identified himself that. I'm coming into Washington, I'm a maverick. Obama said, I am the one we've all been waiting for. At that moment, he won the election. And look at the way, that was long before the election ever happened, but it was the vibration of that situation, the identification of that. Look at what's going on now with, Trump and Bernie and Hillary, the way that they're identifying themselves. You will see what the outcome will be if you understand how the I am principle works. And the I am principle is the governing law of all energy. So, and we're nothing but energy and consciousness. So it's all cool. So yeah, don't call yourself an I am lady. Don't call yourself an old lady. Call yourself a beautiful, magical person like you are.
Well, I am that too. So yeah, I'm thinking, so choose more expansive things that I want to magnify. Now, as we wrap up, how do people get more of Harrison? Do you have a free gift, a place you want to send people? How do we continue with you, Harrison?
I'm going to give you a free gift. I'm going to give your listeners a free gift, and that free gift is called 21 Ways to a Wealthy Mindset. So it explains 21 different ways that you can get your thinking into the area of wealth, into the state of wealth. I have my best-selling program that has been out there for years. I've sold thousands and thousands and thousands of units of the I Am Effect is out there. And it basically is a program that changes the evolution and changes people's experience of themselves, which is the foundation. It changes their experience of the world outside of them. And what happens is that as we start to learn to create from the quantum field, as we start to learn to create from the I Ams, as we start to learn to create from cause and effect places, we get this shift that happens inside of us. Our perspective changes position, and we get this amazing sense of power and involvement in the universe. And then the momentum takes over, and we explode into whatever it is we want to become. People say two things. One is that, we become what we think about all day long. And the other thing is that, I think we never get in this life really what we want. We get in this life what we are. So as we identify, we get the experiences of that identification. And that is what the I Am principle teaches you to do in great detail and great integrations. So we go very, very deep into that so that you can feel it at the most profound levels and do something wonderful with it.
Okay, well, obviously I strongly encourage everybody. I'm hearing an odd echo.
I heard that, yeah.
So the gift is 21
ways to a wealthy mindset.
Okay, and so those of you who are listening on the iTunes podcast, the links are posted at morganaradio.com. And we're also shooting this as a video, so you can watch the video at morganaradio.com. If you're driving, keep your eyes on the road, watch the video later.
I can give you the URL. So.
Yes, what is the URL?
www.theiamprinciple, the I Am effect. And when you say I am, you're doing IAM. So it's THEIAMEFFECT.com, theiameffect.com. Okay. And I can't wait to connect with your people, and I am so thrilled that you had me on today. So, I love being with you, Morgana. You're a sweetie.
You're fun to play with, and you always have such really deep, wonderful things to say. Thank you very much, Harrison.
Thanks, Morgana. Have a great day, and to all your listeners, mwah! Don't do anything